What's up everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be showing you how I achieved this full head crochet style on a good friend of mine. You might have recognized her from my previous video where I did this glam makeover on her. So I'm going to show you how I achieved this hair on her, but before we go any further, make sure you click the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video from me. So I began by braiding off her hair with a little bit of synthetic hair right at the beginning. I did this same technique in my previous video. This time I did not do her parts, and I didn't use zigzag parts with Sheila. I just did her hair going straight back, and I'm making sure not to braid her hair tightly. I like to do really small braids in the front because it gives a closer illusion of scalp as opposed to just a bunch of crochet braids, if that makes sense. So I like to use, as you can see with these two braids right here, they're very close to each other in the beginning portion of her hair, and it just looks overall it just looks a lot better. We had a good old time. We were watching what were we watching? Real Love, or whatever it's called. It's the show with all the black folks, the reality show where they go to find love, and we had such a good time watching that show. But we're gonna continue by just adding a little bit of synthetic hair right to the beginning of her braid. And these braids I am doing to the crown of her head. If you watch my previous crochet video, when it comes to the back, I did the braids going horizontally, so from ear to ear. This time I did not do the braids going up as you've seen in the previous video, where the nape area they had cornrows going towards the crown. She is a runner, she's a marathon runner, and she preferred the braids going from ear to ear horizontally, so that is what I'm doing for her this time. So now I'm moving on to the center of her head, and I'm beginning by taking the cornrows that were done in the front and creating a cornrow going from ear to ear. And I am just overlapping the cornrows to create an X, so that way there's no gaps when I begin to crochet the hair. You will just see hair, no scalp. So I'm once again crossing over those braids, as you can see, to create an X when I braid these braids together. And I'm going to begin braiding going from, what is this, left to right. In the video it looks, right to left, but So I'm taking the braid that was done previously and laying it flat against her head, and then I'm going to add it into the braid that I am doing. So that way when she is taking down her hair, although I always take her hair down, if the client were to take down their hair by themselves, it is just a matter of one braid they have to find to start, and then everything else kind of flows from there. So as always, I'm crocheting her existing braid into itself, and I'm going to use these grow, I think they're from Kaleidoscope, the Miracle Drops, and I'm just using this to hydrate her scalp. Her hair is freshly washed, and she did have it oiled and all of that prior to. So this hair is from Beshe. It is their deep twist hair. I'm using the colors 1B and number 30. So I like to take one strand of the hair and divide it into a minimum of at least 3 to 4 strands. If I can get more, great. You don't want to put this hair in as is because it will create bulk, it will not look natural, and you'll end up using a lot more hair. So to begin, I'm going to take my crochet needle from top to bottom, insert it into the braid, attach the hair to the latch hook, pull through, and the latch hook will basically close on its own, and I'm only pulling through one strand of this hair to create my invisible knot. The key is to make sure that you are inserting your crochet hook from top to bottom, because we want, when she lifts this hair up, to put it into a high bun, that the knot will be on the opposite side and not seen from the nape of her head. So I'm going to continue this process throughout her entire perimeter. That way she will be able to put her hair up into a bun. So now I'm going more towards the center of her head, and here the invisible knots aren't necessary, so I am just doing traditional knotting here, where I'm pulling through both strands of hair through the loop and just creating a knot. Once again, I'm going through like maybe 5 or 6 times with the knotting, just to make sure that this hair doesn't slip out, because she lives in California, I'm in New York, and I want to make sure she gets at least 6 to 8 weeks wear out of this style. So I'm going to continue doing this knotting method in the center of her head, and then I will go back to the invisible knot method when I get towards the very front of her hairline and throughout her parting as well. So I'm continuing the process with the traditional knotting, and because she does not wear her parts this low, there's no need for an invisible knot here. However, when I get right towards the very the beginning where her edges are, I am putting invisible knots there, so that way it is seamless. She does have invisible knots throughout every part that she wears. That is from left to right. She wears her part only on the left side towards, and a middle part, so she has parting all throughout the left side towards the center. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is her completed look. I just used literally one strand of number 30, divided that maybe into 4 pieces, and just placed that as peekaboo highlights throughout the top. And as you can see here, I'm just showing you her different parts, and they all are invisible knots. Don't she look bomb, y'all? If you want to see this makeup look, I will leave that down in the description box, or you can click the link here at the top in the cards. She can do wear her hair up in the middle if she wanted to. She is feeling herself, y'all, and I'm here for it. But as you can see now with the beginning of her braids, as what I said, when you put it closer, it looks a lot more seamless. Of course, it's going to look like crochet braids, but it doesn't have to look like crochet braid, if you get what I'm trying to say. But she has a lot of volume. I only used one pack and a couple of strands from each other pack. But yeah, that's basically it. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And I will catch you all in the next one. Bye, guys.